Afternoon, everyone. It is 12 o'clock by my time here in the Division of Child Care and Early Childhood Education. I'm Tanya Williams. Welcome to our March provider call. We have some really exciting things going on today. Just so you know, for those of us here in Central Office in Little Rock, there is a Blue and You kickoff. If you're not familiar with Blue and You, it's an effort by the Arkansas Blue Cross Blue Shield, the Department of Health, our agency, and many other agencies who encourage employees to be healthy and just encourage a new lifestyle changes at the beginning of the year. And so we sign up and we log all of our healthy habits over the next few months, and people win prizes. But we are having the kickoff today on March 1st outside the office on Main Street. And we've had a parade with floats from every part of the agency, including the Division of Child Care. We are also announcing something very exciting today, and I'm going to let one of my colleagues who had the idea talk a little bit about it, and we're going to start with that. We've got a full agenda. I think you guys are going to start to see that as we shift a little bit out of the pandemic and go to, I think people are calling it endemic, but sort of transitioning from what we've experienced in the past couple of years to the new normal, whatever that's going to be for all of us. We do not have any providers closed due to COVID. We're not tracking that. We do have programs that are calling in. We did have some during the weather with that closed, but most programs are not closing due to COVID any longer. There may be some intermittent closures, but we're just not tracking that. So I won't be giving a report on that today. Staff will be giving you information about the funding for American Rescue Plan Act a little bit later and the essential worker funds. But we have a very packed agenda with a lot of people. So without further ado, I'm going to let my colleague Onika Lester talk about something that she is very passionate about and that we are launching today. And so Onika, please take it away.
Guys, hi guys, how are you? I was having some technical difficulties here in the central office visiting. So I want to say to you all today, I am very, very excited here. And I don't know, they have so much technology up here. There's so many cameras and I can't even tell in which direction I'm looking with all this fancy stuff they have. But I want to say today that the Division of Child Care and Early Childhood Education, we are working on an early childhood initiative, and this is a literacy initiative. And we are sharing the word about the importance of reading, and we're hoping that it becomes contagious. So we are encouraging all early childhood education providers, teachers, parents to become a part of the effort. We will start by celebrating actually tomorrow, which is Dr. Seuss's birthday. So tomorrow we'll be celebrating his birthday. He's one of the greatest inspirations in educational history. And so tomorrow, in celebrating his birthday, this is going to be the kickoff. However, we do not want to stop there. We want to continue to promote high quality learning and help our children in our community build a strong cognitive skills, language skills, and promote brain development. So please join us in making reading fun. You can dress up in character, you can take photos, videos, do whatever you choose. All we want you to do is take 10 minutes each day and just have fun and promote reading. I think you all can join us in that effort.
Thank you, Onika, so much. So just a little back history. Onika is a longtime early childhood educator. She comes by it genetically. Her mom has worked in this field, so she just has a real natural. But we were in a staff meeting about a month ago, and Onika at the end of the meeting says, I have an idea. And she pitches the idea, which was, what if we kicked off something around reading literacy, but really encouraged everybody to read to children? The truth is, you guys are reading to children every day. I know that. I hope you are. But I just want you guys to know today, we are kicking off this initiative called 10 Minutes Matter. 10 Minutes Matter. And you're going to see it all over DHS, all over our website in the coming next couple of days that will be going on throughout the year. But those 10 Minutes Matter are to help encourage parents and early care and education professionals take 10 minutes a day and read to a child. 10 minutes. One book, one small book a day can add 300,000 or more vocabulary words from the time a child is born until they start school. If you read 5 books a day to children, their literacy vocabulary increases by 1.3 million words. So just think about that, the impact that you all have the opportunity to make. We are going to be having contests. Our agency will be pushing out toolkits to providers and to parents. We'll be asking parents to send in their videos reading to their children, and they can win books for their children. But just wanted you to let you guys know about it first. I'm going to be leaving a little bit early today. I'm actually going over. The governor is doing a press conference, and this is part of the press conference. So early childhood literacy gets to be a little bit of a recognition today in this effort. So I just wanted you all to be the first to hear about it, the first to start. You already do this for our children every day. Do it more. Encourage your parents to do it more. Take 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes out of a schedule to read to a child in celebration of Dr. Seuss's birthday tomorrow. And the rest of the year. We're going to have staff. You're going to see all kinds of things throughout the year, but we're going to have staff. We'll video staff, and we're going to push those videos out. They'll be reading their favorite books. So you'll get to see your licensing staff and your nutrition staff and others here in the division. I'm sure I'll do a book at some point, but we're going to be recruiting people. You may see some famous people from Arkansas. You may see all different kinds of people, including yourself. We might ask you, but please read to children. It is one of the most critical things that we can do to help them. So I'm really excited, and I really just hats off to Onika Lester for this small idea that has really grown very quickly, Onika. And so we just wanted you all to be aware of that. Got a lot of other exciting things for you all today, but watch out for the toolkit and the information. We'll be pushing it out on social media. If you're not friends with DHS on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, please do that. But we'll make sure that you get access to that. But today, the governor will be announcing, and I'll be over at the press conference at 1:30. And then tomorrow is really the official Dr. Seuss birthday kickoff to early literacy. 10 minutes matter. So thank you. And I'm going to let us go ahead and move on. We have some special guests, colleagues that have been working with our state. So I will have to step out just a little bit early today, gang. I know that Paige will close us out. If there are questions, Paige, if there's anything that you all need and we cannot answer, we will get you the answer, but we'll be monitoring the chat box for questions and things. But I'm going to hand it over to Todd Grindle at SRI. So thank you all, and thank you for everything you do every day to help children be successful.
Thanks so much, Tanya. And that 10 minutes matter, that sounds like such a great initiative. I'm excited to hear where that goes. So hi, everybody. Thank you for giving me a little time on your call. My name is Todd, and I am a researcher with SRI Education. Could you go to the next slide, please? We have been working together with the Department of Child Care and Early Childhood Education for the last 2 years or so. And some of you had talked to us last year when we were working with the department to best understand how they can support providers throughout the pandemic. And so we did surveys and interviews with a number of you and gave that information back to Tanya and her team. And they used that to help, to help guide all the ways that they support you all every day. So next week, some of you are going to receive a request to participate in another survey. So this survey is focused on how the Department of Child Care and Early Childhood Education can help providers support children's social and emotional development. And just wanted to tell you today so that you could be on the lookout for this email. So it'll come from this email address that says arkansas.ece@sri.com. With a subject line saying the Arkansas ECE Social Emotional Support Survey. Your participation in this is completely voluntary, so nobody's requiring you to do this. And the information that you share is confidential, right? That means that nobody at the department is ever going to see your name associated with your responses. We take all of that information and we put them all together to give some big picture insights for the department. Not everybody's going to receive this request. It's just a random sample of folks. But if you do receive it and you complete the survey, as a thank you, we'll send you a $25 Walmart gift card. You'll have my name will be on that email address. So if there's anything in that email, so if there's anything that you have questions about, you're not sure about, you're welcome to give me a call or email me, and I'd be happy to talk through with you. One last thing, some of you may have gotten a survey from UAMS last month. Just wanted to point out this is a different thing. So you might get that and think, oh, didn't I answer this already last month? So this one is entirely new. So again, we really hope that you can participate. We know your time is valuable and that you all are very busy working with children every day. But this information is really useful for us to help Tanya and her team better serve you.
Thanks, Todd. I think we're moving on to Brandy Ishman. Brandy's going to talk a little bit about essential worker applications.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Just want to go over some points that we covered in the last meeting, but just want to bring those back to your attention. So on the first thing here, if you have families who were previously authorized for essential worker application, you saw their authorizations, they were there for billing, and you notice that those authorizations have not been continued, especially if they did not continue into January. It is quite likely that all of those are closed. So what you need to do is have families, they can send their information directly to me, and I will send it out for processing, but those authorizations are closed. So when you look in there and you don't see someone who was normally there, it's because that case has been closed. If you want to stay up on all of those closure notice, please, I want you to turn your attention to your billing website's welcome page. All of those notices are sent to you in real time. As soon as our case managers close those cases, you are notified. So that information, you have it for all of your families if those cases close. So please make sure that you check there so you can see if that is a closed or open case, or if it's just an authorization that was not extended. But it's likely for a family who we did not receive a redetermination for. You can still submit those at those times. At this time, currently, we are still allowing those to be submitted. They were due in October, but if families fail to submit that for whatever reason, at this time, we are still accepting those. So you can have the family complete that redetermination form, ensure that they declare assets. There's a question toward the middle or the bottom that asks about their assets. Make sure that that is completed and have them attach 30 days worth of current check stubs or however their income is received. Have them attach a minimum of 30 days for each adult in the house, and then we will move forward with processing that redetermination for you. Okay, so let's move on to essential worker authorizations. Currently, we are authorizing families until June 30th. We want you to I want to note that that date is going to be kind of a moving target at times. We will notify all families, all providers when the essential worker program is coming to an end. But authorizations right now are being extended until June 30th. You'll notice for some of your families, it may be beyond that, and that date will continue to fluctuate as we assess funding and determine if we are able to take authorizations past the dates that they are currently keyed. So don't be alarmed if some families are keyed differently than others. They'll all be extended some point to the same time period, but those dates will fluctuate. And as I said, we will notify all providers and all families of the date that the program will officially end. I want to also bring to your attendance, we sometimes get a lot of calls or questions about families who don't have a current authorization. I want to encourage all providers to ensure that if there is a family that you do not have an authorization for, and that family has been coming to your center, you need to expect payment from that family. Even if they tell you that they have applied for child care assistance, they've submitted an application, they're waiting for it to be processed, they need to be paying until that authorization is processed. Okay. I will go over to the chat and try to answer as many of your questions as we can. I just saw that one pop up about an average time frame for processing. So if you have not heard anything and it's been about 30 days, then you can reach out to me on that application for that family. We do have a great influx of applications that are coming in. And so if it's been about 30 days, then feel free to reach out to me and we'll research that application and tell you exactly where it is in the processing process. Okay. Thanks, Tanya.
So, good afternoon. I believe that I'm next. Okay, and I have great news. The first news that I want to share is that since we received the ARPA funds, we have already distributed approximately $70 million out to providers. And we've got another 20 million that we are anticipating sending out this week. So almost $90 million out to our early education field, which is amazing for us. And that's just been since November. Now, with that being said, there still are opportunities for funding left. So please, we encourage you, if you have not applied for the ARPA operational or quality improvement grants for certain, make sure that you do check those out. But as you can see, the big announcement of the day is that the Child Care Supply Building grant application has gone live. And I am going to put right now the link into the chat box. I did not have it when we developed this slide. That is how hot off the press this is. It is has just posted. The due date will be April 15th. This is really for the businesses and organizations and providers who want to open new facilities in parts of the state where maybe they don't have services for CCDF. And so we're very, very excited about this opportunity. If you've got any questions about that, you can certainly reach out to me. I will let you know, I'm gonna have to be very careful because whatever questions you have for me, I've got to make sure that I share that information out with anyone else who's interested in applying. So just giving you a heads up on that. And I believe in light of the ARPA funds, the next person to present, actually, we've requested that someone from our Office of Payment Integrity and Audit attend this call, Kelton Phillips, so that he can discuss and answer some of the questions you all have given us since we've talked about the need for audits, especially surrounding ARPA funds, but it's not just ARPA funds, it's all state and federal funding. Tanya, was there anything else you wanted to share before Kelton talks?
No, let's let Kelton go.
You really want to let me go?
Yes, Kelton, we do.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelton Phillips. I'm a senior auditor with Office of Payment Integrity and Audit, the Audit Coordination Unit. We're the folks that you email your audit reports to, and we go put them through a desk analysis and then let you know what we found or what we didn't find. I've been asked to kind of address how we are going to view, or how we are viewing the COVID monies in accordance with our guidelines. And if you've seen them and you know them, you know that they're old. They were issued on 12/15 of 1998. And yes, they are old. We've taken several runs at trying to update them, but they haven't succeeded yet. But anyway, what our viewpoint is that we are going to follow the guidelines as they are right now, as they've been issued. And that is that if you are a nonprofit and you receive $100,000 or more from DHS, you are required to submit an audit report to our unit. If you are a for-profit and you receive $100,000 or more of therapeutic foster care, you're also required to submit an audit report. If you are for-profit, LLC, or any type of organization other than nonprofit, you are not required to send DHS Office of Payment Integrity and Audit an audit report. Now that comes with a couple of caveats. If you receive and expend $750,000 or more of federal monies, not state monies, there's some that are portion state, portion fed, but if you have $750,000 or more of federal monies that you expend, you're required to submit a single audit under uniform guidance rules that are issued by the Office of Management and Budget out of the White House. And it does not matter which type of entity you are required to do that. Now, I know it can be a little confusing, and I know some of you have already asked me information that I haven't answered, and I apologize for that. But it's just, we have been really trying to work on getting where the position that we need to make a statement on this. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll put my information in the chat here in just a minute. And if you email me, some providers are not in our database. And so I will need additional information just to help me help you. And I will also list that information in our database. And what I will do is I will look at what DHS has paid you. That's all I have access to, and know about the federal expenditures. If you receive monies other than from DHS, if you receive it direct, or if you receive it from another state agency or a state or an agency from another state, if you're around a border city, I'm not going to know about that. So I will help you the best I can. The best resources for you, consult your CPA or your auditor, and they can help you make that determination of whether you need to file with us or not. If you want just a copy of the audit guidelines, you can email me too. I'll be happy to send you a copy. There's some differences that have moved on since we were there. We don't need a hard copy mailed to us along with a 3.5-inch floppy disk. We do not need that anymore. Just email the report to us. If you receive any commodities, the value of those commodities is included for state purposes as federal funding. So there's a lot of nuances that are part of making this determination. So, it's hard to say, just from a generic standpoint, there's specifics that are involved in this. Also, I was asked to emphasize the point that if you're a new provider, and you've received COVID money, DCC, this is not an audit regulation, but this is DCC regulation, is that if you receive COVID money and your facility closes within 6 months of receiving that money, they're going to want it back. So just be aware of that, and that there are issues that can happen. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. You have any questions, Tanya?
Alton, we had one question in the chat box. I think we've answered most of them, but the question was, are the audit amounts based on ownership or individual facility license? And in quotations or parentheses, multi-site, same owner, but a different LLC. I think this is a site that has more than one site. So I think it's whatever amount of funding you get from DHS. If you're a nonprofit and it's over 100,000, you'll have to submit an audit.
Correct. And if you're a facility and you have 2 or 3 satellite, you have your daycare, and you have a facility in Conway, Greenbrier, and Morrison. It will depend on how each is organized. If they're all organized under an umbrella company or an umbrella entity, they can all flow up and we'll expect an audit report from the head entity. If they are separate, we may be you'll have to email me and we'll have to make a determination of whether we get one separately or not. If you merge, we've seen quite a bit of that in the past. And so we'll look at how much each facility got and probably require that all be added up. I mean, it's just, like I say, there's a lot of nuance and a lot of specifics that go into making a determination. And I hate to give just an overall, but the main rule of thumb is if you're a nonprofit and receive $100,000 or more from DHS, you're required to submit an audit report to us within 120 days or 4 months after the end of your fiscal year. Yes, I will put somebody's already beat me to it. Tanya did is put my email in here. She ought to know it by heart, actually.
I do, Kelton. I put it in there for you. Somebody was asking for it. So,
right.
I think the big takeaway here, gang, is Kelton's here just because we've had a lot of questions, and you certainly can reach out to Kelton. We're not your audit firm. We are not the CPA or person that you're hiring to do this. You may want to look in your community. If you know that you're getting over the thresholds that Kelton mentioned, you are a nonprofit and it's over 100,000 from DHS, then you might want to talk to a CPA firm. If you get $750,000 in federal funds, which would be almost everything we would give you, if you're getting that much from nutrition, USDA programming, and our child care block grant, anything from the block grant, including the ARPA funding, those are all federal dollars. Those are not state dollars. So, if you get a combination and it's 750,000 or more and you're a for-profit, then you may want to reach out to someone and talk to them about what you need to do. We really wanted Kelton on just to kind of walk through those basic things. And we put his email in there so that you can ask questions. But we appreciate all the questions. We will not send this out. This probably is in some of the agreements that you have to participate in funding with us. I will double check that. But it's, 100,000 from DHS if you are a nonprofit, 750,000 or more if you're a for-profit. You would need to submit a single audit. So there are different things, and that's why Kelton's trying to explain. It's complicated. Depends on your entity. So we can't answer every individual question for every entity, but he can certainly talk to you about your organization and maybe point you to a CPA firm in your community. But I would encourage you to talk to a CPA firm in your community regarding your audit, and if you feel like you're going to be in any of these categories.
Yeah, and just to answer there, Cindy had asked a question about having to submit a gas audit and not having over 750 and being a for-profit. In the past, we have always required an audit from anybody that received either therapeutic foster care or ABC money. Now, with the reorganization of the state, the ABC money was taken back over to the Department of Education, and DHS no longer does any monitoring on that money. If you've got ABC, that may be why you've had to submit an audit report in the past. I hope that helped.
That was great, Kelton. I'm glad you mentioned that. That has been a change for some of these programs. And I know Paige is answering questions, about helping with the expense. If you are reimbursed by our agency, if you get child care reimbursement, if you're getting funds from ARPA, as Paige has pointed out, those funds can be used to pay for your audit. We don't have a separate pot of funding for audit, but it's in your reimbursement for child care, and it's part of your business practice. So you'll want to, if you're getting into that place where you're close to the the requirement, you're going to want to budget that. You want to think about that in your budget. That's why you want to talk to a firm and have a conversation about the cost and how much you're going to need to budget. But as Paige has pointed out, you can certainly use these one-time funds, American Rescue Plan funds that you're getting for any of the operational quality improvement. All of those can help pay for the audit. We anticipate that some of you may get pushed above that threshold and have to submit an audit. So we want you to use those funds. So you want to build that into your budget.
Yeah, that is, when you receive a check, part of that should go towards the cost of the audit for that year. And what we're looking at is your fiscal year end. You may have a 12, you may have a 12/31 or a 6/30 or 3/31, 9/30. We've got at least one provider that has a year end in each of the months, January through December. So, we have to look at a snapshot. And when we do, you've got to realize that that what we look at is what we pay you, cash out the door during a certain time period. Now, and if you're using the cash basis of accounting to keep your books, it should match up with those numbers that we send you. However, if you're on the accrual basis, you have accounts receivable, accounts payables, things of that nature, and you're on the accrued basis, you're going to have to figure out. We send on our confirmations, we always send out a year plus 45 days, so that a lot of your receivables will be covered and paid by DHS during that 45-day period. So it will help your auditor figure out and help you identify when the revenue was earned, so that you can properly book it. Anything else you need?
I think that's it, Kelton. There might be some additional questions that pop up in the chat box, but we're going to go ahead and move on to keep things moving here. And I know many of you have been asking questions, and many of you have been applying for level 2 of Better Beginnings to make that deadline that we have federally in our child care block grant. So Kelly and then Donna Kirkwood are going to talk about that a little bit.
Good afternoon, everyone. I managed to get myself off mute appropriately, I think. Yes, most of you know that we have the deadline of for the programs who are level 1 and receive voucher funding. You have to be level 2 by June 30th of this year to continue to receive that funding. So we had to set a deadline to get those applications in, because we still have about 195 programs who have not even applied for level 2 yet, who are receiving voucher funding. So for us to plan those ERS reviews and pass and BAS reviews that have to be done before we can get you approved, we had to go ahead and set a deadline to get the applications in. So I've put in here where you email your application to. I'm going to drop in the chat box the actual link to fill out, or to the applications. And then you can send those to us by email. We will get those evaluations scheduled. The other exciting news we have on the Better Beginning side is last night, after close of business yesterday, they launched the new website. So check that out as you have time. I looked at it this morning. I did have it show up. They did say that some people might not get it right away due to however they roll out that technology. Some people will get it. It may take you a time or two of refreshing your browser, or it may take a day or two to get it, but it is out there now. So please check that out. And I think that is it on Better Beginning side for me.
I think Donna Kirkwood's next.
Hi, friends. Thanks for letting me join in today, Tanya and Kelly. I wanted to share with you that we have some really great resources for providers who are applying for level 2. So if anybody is struggling or feels like the deadline is too soon, we have resources for you. I went ahead and put them in the chat box a minute ago, and I accidentally hit send before chat box. You'll see some links. The first one is we have 3 trainings coming up in the next few days for providers called Intro to Better Beginnings, which goes over the application line by line. And so we really hope dates and time. And also, I went ahead and put the link there so that if you want to join us and it's too late to PDR, you can go ahead and join us. Then I wanted to share for you a resource we have, which I called required and helpful trainings. And so if you are looking for any required Better Beginnings lists them, who needs to take them, and then it also has a link to the most current courses that are available. So for instance, if you want to take Past Basics, you would click on Past Basics, and it's going to take you to a page that has self-paced courses, and also for every required course for Better Beginnings, we have those listed here, and we update this every week. And then just to make it a little bit easier, we also have some helpful trainings. So these are not required, but these are ones that will help you prepare for your application, your passport folio, and classroom quality. So these are all classes that are offered soon. You can take them right away. Like I said, the introduction, we actually class starting at 2 o'clock today. So I hope you'll join us. And if you can't, please use this resource. Things you need. Also included our email. So if you have any questions, or if you didn't catch the link, you can email us at betterbeginnings@astate.edu. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Donna. You were breaking up a little, but I think everyone got that information, and Donna has put it out in links, and Kelly has also included links. I think we are moving Brenda to Kayla Bodi.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just here to remind you all of our upcoming provider call that we will be having over the electronic background check system. So if you need any assistance, or you have any peers in the early childhood education field that need assistance with that program, if you have any questions, anything that you would like some one-on-one time with, we will be doing that live. The next one is Thursday, March 31st. It's from 12 to 1, and they will also be recorded and posted on our website. And there is my contact information as well if you have any questions or you need anything when it comes to the background check system. I hope that you all have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Kayla. And I think our last slide is just a reminder about our next call.
Well, this one, Tanya, I'm just going to speak for Mary Oliver real quick because she's not on the call, but we do have an intent training. It's Thursday, March 17th. Man, we want you to be there. It is a great training. We want your staff to be there. We've got the information up there in front of you for how to get registered for that, so you can get that great Zoom link.
Thank you so much. And thanks to Mary Oliver and the licensing staff. This is intent training, but it's really walking programs through the licensing regulations. And as many of you know, the licensing regs are a manual that has a number of required regulations. And sometimes when you're looking at it, you might not understand. The staff really walk you through the intent, like what is the intent behind that regulation. So it's wonderful training. If you have new staff, if you're a new program person, I highly recommend it to folks to have that information. I see a question, and we're probably getting close to wrapping up. Brandy, this may be a question for you all, an update on absentee waivers in regard to COVID. Yes, I believe if you have children who are missing because of COVID, we have a normal, it's in your participant agreement. I encourage you to read that. There's a normal process, and we're just going back to the normal process. So if Patricia or Brandy wants to remind everyone what that process is, it is slightly different than the waiver process we're currently using, but it does require some documentation. But you're allowed, we do have children forget about the pandemic, but we have had children in the past who maybe have a terminal illness or an illness that prevents them from being in class or in preschool. And so we've worked with programs in order to pay them. So this is just our normal process. So Brandy, if you or Patricia just want to kind of talk about that and remind programs what that is, we are out of the absentee waiver process. And, you know, frankly, guys, we're out of, I mean, we're really, I know there's still going to be some COVID cases. I'm sure there's going to be some continued discussion about that, but for all practical purposes, we're really transitioning into a new period. And, you know, hopefully things are starting to become more normal for all of you. There aren't any requirements related to COVID from us. You know, you all have the opportunity to make the decisions that you need to make to keep your staff and your program and your families, children safe. So Brandy, you want to talk to that, or Patricia?
I'm sorry. Okay, this is Patricia, I'm sorry. So we were talking about the COVID waivers for the, a lot of that we're getting now, and I'm so sorry, I'm all over the place. But what we're getting is that some of the referrals have actually calmed down. So we're going to be, I don't think we're going to be in that program. I'm kind of lost. Tanya, can you kind of touch bases on that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I think we're going to have programs that are going to be having children that may miss because of COVID. What we're going to be doing is handling that in the normal, they're over their absentee days process, Patricia. And I apologize for putting you on the spot there. Brandy, I saw you leaning in to kind of help there. So
I'm so sorry.
that's okay. That's okay, gang. That's why we want to talk through it to make sure everybody knows. So Brandy, do you want to talk through that for just a second?
Right, so we're going to be following the normal absentee process for all children who are having absentee days. If they're over absentee days, if there's any reason, as you all know, your participant talks about how you get if a child has a serious illness and what documentation needs to be submitted to get those days waived if they need extended absentee days. But other than that, we're going to be following the participant agreement as it is written. So if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us, but we will be returning to our normal process.
Yeah, and let me just kind of wrap that up. If you have some prior to 3/31, the staff will work with you. We'll get those processed and paid. But starting, it's actually yesterday, but today we will start handling those in the normal process today on March 1st. So anything prior to 2/28, and you may have some still out there being processed, we will continue to work through and pay you for those, but effective on 3/1. So anything prior to today, so 2/28 and prior, we will handle through the absentee COVID process. But as we are moving forward, we don't have, the health department isn't collecting information on that anymore. There are so many things that changed last month, gang, that we are just not going to be able to continue to do that process. So you will just do it in the normal process, as Brandy said. So if you do have a child that has it, has COVID or any other illness that prevents them from going past their normal absentee days, because we built in, I believe it's 30 or 40 days a year. It's a lot of time that a child can miss. So if they're going over that, then you can follow the normal process. And it's in your participant agreement, but you can reach out to Brandy, as she said. So thank you all so much. Watch for the announcement about 10 minutes matter, and don't forget about that. And don't forget about Dr. Seuss's birthday tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. The next call is April 5th. So everyone stay safe and keep up the amazing work that you're doing with young children. And remember, 10 minutes does matter.